Welcome to my channel. This is my very first post. I've already tried this thing a bunch of times already. I'll write it up and set it aside or come back to it and, well, it seems not good. And maybe I'm just self-conscious, but then again, maybe it's not good. Making a post is pretty intimidating. Now, I've seen all these different videos on YouTube. Things like how to make my post more interesting, how to talk on camera, what subjects to bring up, video and audio tech, a whole bunch of stuff. But I think the thing that really stuck in my mind was this one guy that said, hey, just make 100 posts. Doesn't matter if they're good or bad. Nobody's going to watch them anyway, and by the time you get to 101, hey, who knows? Then the other thing people keep asking me about is, how are you going to make money with this? Well, that one's easy. I'm not vain enough to think that anybody's going to be overly interested in what I've got to show or say. I've seen a whole bunch of people on YouTube, and they all seem to be successful and living their best life and killing it. Well, my posts, well, here's the facts. Me and my wife were struggling. A thief stole everything we had, and we had to go like insanely into debt just to survive. Now we're taking the thief to court. But in order to do that, we had to mortgage our house. And because I'm here to tell you, justice ain't cheap. It's definitely for the rich. Now, will we win? Yeah, I think so. We're telling the truth, and she's packing a bunch of lies. But she's rich. And like, she hired this fancy law firm that pretty much scared the bejeebus out of every other lawyer in Flagstaff from taking her case. Now, we got a lawyer, and a good one. We got a Cousin Vinny type of lawyer. He's a one-man practice. I'm not even sure he's got an assistant. But her guys, they got an army of paralegals and a whole bunch of spare lawyers to boot. So yeah, we've been trying to get this thing in front of a jury for a couple of years now. And her lawyers are good, but we're not giving up. But let's pile on a few more problems just to make it interesting. I'm 67 years old, and during the time all this was happening, I got real sick. I got diagnosed with stage 4 kidney disease. In fact, next week I'm getting my veins mapped out in my arm so that they'll know where to hook up the dialysis. My wife's 57, and she's got her own health problems. We both work minimum wage jobs. I DoorDash, and she's a cashier at Dollar Tree. We've spent our whole life busting our asses only to end up poor, broke, and old, at least for now. Now, if you follow my posts, they're more likely not going to be about how I turned this thing around and made $1 bajillion, but they're more likely to be one of constant struggle in the face of slow decline. In other words, reality. Now, I'll try to make it as authentic as possible. And look, there's millions of people out there with problems just like me. I mean, I see them alongside of me in the doctor's office, and I see them working the crappy jobs where I pick up my DoorDash. And if I start whining too much, all I got to do is walk outside that front door, go 2 blocks down, and there's a bunch of homeless people sleeping on the concrete in 118 degrees weather. So yeah, I got a lot of advantages. I'm white. I got family that'll help, and I don't have any major drug problems. I mean, these are a lot of advantages other people just don't have. The world's definitely not fair, but you just got to deal with it the best you can. The big challenge that me and Letha have now is how to get out of these slave wages that have a hold of us. For the last decade or so, me and Letha has been up on a mountain in the forest trying to turn a slumlord piece of property into a viable rental park. And it was all consuming, and by the time we looked up, man, we found that the world had just passed us by. I went up there with a flip phone, and by the time I left, I still hardly knew how to text. The only thing I used the internet for mostly was to find out how to repair old Coleman gas heaters or fix the roof on a beat up old trailer. By the time we got back to Phoenix, man, the whole world was online. And the internet, and in particular social media, man, that is absolutely amazing. It seemed to have the answers to everything. I mean, look, I got more information from this guy on the internet called Dad Vice, the kidney warrior, than I did from the 7-minute allotment I had with my real doctor. You got a question? Somebody on the internet's got an answer. Now look, I'm not an idiot. I know there's a lot of junk on there. Yeah. And Google. Man, they used to be a search engine you could actually find stuff on. Now it's just a swamp of advertisement. There's this guy called Yuval Harari, and he said in this age of new technology, we don't need more information. What we need is clarity. So me and Letha are digging into the internet and trying to find that clarity. Maybe figure out how to go on with our lives. The kids now, our kids, they've grown up with this internet. It's the single biggest influence in their lives. I mean, forget school, forget parents. It's the internet. It's got a hold of their brains. And, well, to tell you the truth, it's got a hold of ours too. Letha loves TikTok. And me, man, mine is YouTube. Me and that algorithm, we're best buddies. But that also brings me to why I don't think a lot of people are going to be interested in my posts and what I have to say, because I look at these posts that are obscure enough to bore just about anybody. I mean, I get excited watching Professor Kerr Lindsay talk about international relations, or there's this Alison Villa and her social commentary, or the plastic pill guy and his philosophy. There's this guy, Sarcasmatron. He's got a weird take on just about everything. And the thing is, I'm finding that what they're saying is pretty profound and relevant. And these voices are mostly young. I mean, they're young enough to be my kids or my grandkids. And it's like hearing voices from the future. And I want to be in on that conversation. It's interesting. So besides me speaking my mind on whatever catches my interest, one of the things I want to do is I want to tell the story of my family. And I want to tell my story to my family. I come from a big family and with this new media, I just feel that there's a real opportunity to tell these kind of family histories and all their richness and detail. Like for instance, Letha's mom, she spent years digging out her family genealogy, and all she came up with was a bunch of death dates, birthdays, occupations, arrivals in the country, just basic stuff. And when I asked my mom, who's 85, I asked her about her granddad, and she gave me this vague story that he was a lawyer, a member of the House of Representatives, the Oklahoma House of Representatives, and got shot in the leg by the Ku Klux Klan for some reason. When I asked her about her dad, the only thing she'll say was he was an accountant and an alcoholic. So back in the 70s, there was this famous author called Studs Terkel, and he would write stories about these ordinary, everyday, unexceptional people, kind of people that history sweeps under the rug. Well, I am those people. I've lived with them. I know them. And the thing is, I found them exceptional and interesting, my family included. Now, I don't think my family is any more interesting than other ones, but it's what I know. And what do they always tell you? You know, write what you know. I've been around for almost 70 years, and I got a lot of stuff banging around in my head, that experiences and thoughts, and I want to learn a lot more. And now it's like, here towards the end of my life, it's like the gods have come down and said, here is all the information of mankind. It's like, if you can't find your answers here, maybe there's no answers for you. But you got to hurry, because the censors are coming. Knowledge is power, and the censors want that power for themselves. So it's almost like they're saying, for a limited time only, we're going to make available to you the mind of God, or at least the mind of mankind. Everything that we know in all the centuries, right here. Starring the new Delphic Oracle, Joe Rogan. But, yeah, in all seriousness, my friend, I'm going to make these posts, say what's on my mind, tell my story, tell the story of Letha and my family. And if you find it too boring or amateurish, then maybe I'll see you at post 101.